Let's be real, every business gets pitched by marketing agencies constantly. But what actually makes one of those pitches stick? Well, today we're going to deconstruct the entire pitch of First Call Solutions. We're using their own materials to see exactly how they build their case, from a big shiny promise to a final price tag. Okay, so every great pitch kicks off with a hook, right? Something that grabs you emotionally. And this is theirs. It's not about clicks or conversions, it's a promise. A promise that your business will finally get the attention it deserves. In a world full of noise, that's a really powerful way to start the conversation. So, right after that emotional hook, they lay out their formal identity. And notice that word they use, premium. By calling themselves premium, they're setting expectations right from the start about quality and probably about price. They're focusing that premium label on two things: digital marketing in general, and more importantly, lead generation. Let's see how they say they'll deliver. All right, so let's dive into that first big idea, the spotlight promise. It sounds great, but what does putting a client in the spotlight actually mean in the real world? What are you actually getting? And here's where the rubber meets the road. This is how they translate that big idea into things a business owner actually cares about. Of course, it starts with attention and revenue. That's the main event. But look closer. They're also talking about evolving your brand, mitigating risk, and forming partnerships. That's a really smart move. They're not just saying, we'll run some ads for you. They're positioning themselves as a core strategic partner. Okay, promises are great, but how do they actually pull it off? What's in their toolkit? Well, the first thing they pull out is probably exactly what you'd expect. First up, SEO, the bedrock of, being seen online at all. Their pitch here is pretty straightforward. We create strategies to get you higher on Google, which drives traffic. But notice that key phrase they use, sustainable growth. That's not an accident. They're telling you this isn't some flash-in-the-pan trick, it's a long-term plan. But they don't stop at just waiting for people to find you. Nope. They've got a whole suite of services designed to go out and get traffic. You've got paid ads for immediate results, social media for building a community, email for keeping customers engaged, and even influencer marketing. It's that classic multi-channel approach, making sure they can reach people no matter where they are. So you've got all this traffic coming your way, but where is it all supposed to go? That's where web development comes into play. They're framing the website as the central hub of a client's entire digital world, and they're hammering home that it has to be super functional and easy to use. And to support that digital home, you've got the usual suspect, web design, to make it look great. But then there's this other thing, back office support. Now that's interesting. It suggests they're willing to get way more integrated into a client's business, maybe even handling some of the admin stuff so the client can just focus on closing the leads they bring in. All right, so we've seen the what, now let's talk about the who. Because any good agency pitch isn't just about what they can do, it's about showing that they really get your world, your specific industry. And boom, this chart tells you pretty much everything you need to know about their strategy. They are not trying to be the agency for everyone. Instead, they're laser-focused on 4 key sectors: insurance, legal, financial, and home services. This specialization is a massive selling point. And this is where their strategy gets really, really sharp. They don't just target insurance, they target health, Medicare, and auto insurance leads. They're not just going after legal, they're specifically going after motor vehicle accident leads. See what they're doing here? They're basically screaming, we are the absolute experts in your tiny, specific corner of the world. So all this talk about super specific niches, it all funnels down to what looks like the real heart of their operation, the lead generation engine. Let's really pull this apart and see how it works. Just 3 words: pay for qualified leads. This cuts right through all the marketing jargon. The promise isn't about impressions or clicks, it's about qualified leads. By framing it like this, they go straight after the biggest fear every client has: spending money on marketing that doesn't actually work. So what does qualified actually mean to them? Well, they lay it out in 2 simple steps. First, the tech part. They use specially designed landing pages to capture someone's interest. But then, and this is the real differentiator, comes the human touch. They have their own in-house team that actually calls these prospects to vet them. It's this blend of automated tech and real human conversation. To keep this whole engine running, you can think of them as playing matchmaker. On one side, you have the advertisers. They're clients who are hungry for leads. And on the other, the publishers, the folks with websites and audiences who can generate that interest. First Call Solutions sits right in the middle, acting as the connector and the quality filter.
Okay, so we've got the promise, we've seen the tools, and we understand the process. But it all comes down to one thing, right? Does it actually work? Let's look at the proof they offer up.
They kick off the proof section with some of their own internal stats. Optimization at 95%, lead analysis at 90%. Now, we don't know the exact math behind these, but the message is crystal clear. Hey, we are obsessed with our process and we are constantly measuring everything to make it better. And then, bam, they hit you with this monster number, 320 million, acclaimed global audience reach. This is all about showing the sheer scale they can operate on. It's meant to tell you we have a massive network at our fingertips. But a huge number like that can feel a little abstract. So what do they do next? They bring it right back down to a human level with a direct quote from a happy customer. It's a classic technique. Take the big, impressive data and make it feel real with a personal success story. And to really hammer the point home, they throw a final burst of data at you. 1,350 content pieces a day? That signals they have a serious operational machine running. An audience that's 89% under 34? That gives you a crucial demographic insight. And then the closer, 1,000+ satisfied customers. Simple, powerful. It's designed to give you that final bit of confidence. And finally, they tie it all up in a neat little bow with their official mission statement. This basically takes everything we've just deconstructed and condenses it into one power sentence. The goal? To revolutionize the space with innovative, data-driven solutions. So if you boil it all down, what's the story they're telling? It's a story of focus. They're saying, yeah, we've got all the tools, but we don't just spray and pray. We aim that entire toolkit with incredible precision to get a few specific industries the one thing they care about most, qualified leads. That's the pitch in a nutshell. Which leaves us with a pretty big question to think about, doesn't it? In this ridiculously crowded digital world we're all fighting for attention in, is this the answer? Is finding a hyper-specialized agency the real key to finally truly getting noticed? Something to chew on. Thanks for joining me.